Oh, there it is. Hey, everybody. What's up? Good morning and welcome to another episode of Live
Survive.
Here on Transworld Medium. I have a super special banner for you guys. Watch this. Are you ready for this?
Oh, I want to see it, Dad.
Woohoo!
Yes, that's so precious.
We hit 1,000 subs.
Kapoom!
On
Kapow!
YouTube. Thank you, everyone, who has subscribed to our channel over the last, 4 years? 6 years? 5 years?
Yeah.
We're on season 5, so it's 5
The
years.
last 7 YouTube lifetimes.
Yes.
It's like 3 since I joined. Something like that. 3 or 4.
So everybody that has subscribed, to give yourself a huge Keystroke Medium golf clap of appreciation because
Pat on the back.
we hit the number. So that is awesome. If you guys have been watching us this year and this season, we have been on the road to 1,000 and we just hit it last week. So I am super excited about that. I think it's
So validating. I feel like we matter now.
Yeah, we arrived. Okay, show over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Life goal.
I also like
Exactly.
how the banner cuts off Chuck most of the way. Like if we could just yeah, there you go. Just put your hat right on top of it.
There's a meme for you.
We'll do the whole show just like that.
Who's that guy looking over the fence?
He's like that Home Alone guy, Wilson.
You
who's
just see
always
his
like, you
hat.
can never see his
Yeah, you
face.
see it with his eyes.
Howdy ho there, neighbor. Welcome everybody in the live chat, and I hope you're having a great Monday morning. Unity 151 Sci-Fi Booktube, hello. Well, that comment is drunk. Apparently, there's a drunk comment there, but I don't see it.
I think I'm seeing all the comments for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Maybe you're not. Maybe you're
Here
not.
we go. There's John. John is in the house.
Hello,
Yeehaw.
John. Welcome.
From like across the world.
There is a way for me to see this live super chat deal, but I am not sure how to bring it up on the YouTube. So we're gonna have to play around with that, I think, because we did hit 1,000 subscribers. We have the ability to monetize our videos, which just gives us a little bit of residual income to help pay for stuff that the show is doing. And also there's an availability to do super chat. But I'm trying to find in the live feature where we can see that. So super chat is a feature where people can donate to the stream. And
that's not what I pictured it as. I pictured something more like a Fast and the Furious action scene.
Right.
That's what I
definitely
expected.
that.
Super chat.
Sweep
like
in and do your taxes for you or something.
explosions.
There is a way to do basically you. Oh wait, here it is. Let's see. Close. How do I get in there?
You can't see my. I can't. I wish I could.
Is it like a llama? What is that?
Yeah, it says
A llama.
It's a llama, but you have to be able to read the
It's
inside.
supposed to be dead.
Oh, no drama llama.
No drama
Yes.
llama. It's one of my
Yes,
favorite coffee cups.
Yes, that's a phrase
so
I use
apparently
often around here.
Apparently, there is a way to do super chat. I'm not exactly sure how to do it. We'll figure that out.
John Evans says at the bottom of the chat, there's a big $sign. Click that, and you can donate to KSM.
Yeah. I just can't see it on my side, so I don't know what it looks like on my side. But apparently, if you click on that and you have like a question or you just want to say thanks, you can do that, and it should come through in some weird thing on YouTube. I don't know if it comes through on our StreamYard side, but I've got YouTube open on the other window, so we'll see if it does. I'm not sure.
Cool.
See.
Very nice. So when the celebrity trillionaires come to watch our show, they can.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right.
100%.
I've often suspected that Stephen King, Dean Koontz, guys like that, they come to us.
He probably is. He's probably
when
just
they're
trying
hitting,
to.
when they're
he's
hitting
trying-
rough spots.
He's
They
working
know
up
who to come to.
He's working up the courage to ask to come on the show.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway,
it's okay, Steve. It's
okay,
okay,
so
Steve. Come on.
times. But yeah, 1,000 subscribers. That was super cool. Also super cool is that we didn't have a show last week. We took a week off because summertime is vacation time, and I got nominated for a Dragon Award. That it was a super cool deal. I was excited about it, and I I got the email like a week before it went live, and so I'm sitting there on Monday like, oh, come on. And then I guess they had some hiccups with the library they were working with, and they didn't release it till Tuesday. So that was like like the Monday of biting your fingernails trying to let it go. So this show is sponsored by my Dragon Award nomination. And if you would like to vote for my book, Edge of Valor, you can go to the link that's in the live chat. We'll call it a super chat. Go to that link and vote for my book. I would be greatly appreciative. And yeah, that's it. That's my spiel. You'll only hear it like 12 more times from me. So there you go. And thank you, Jake Clifton, for voting. I appreciate that. Okay, so what else we got going on? Let's see. I did some work on Tranquility this week. We're almost into the final act. Well, I think we just touched the final act of the book this week. Devin's been working hard at finishing the last several chapters leading up to that point, and then we had to kind of finagle some stuff to make it work correctly. And then I have almost finished the planning for book 2, even though I'm having some trouble making this. You ever think of a scene that you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be pivotal to the book, but then you have no idea how to pull it off, and you're like, I need to get to that point right there. How do I get there?
Yeah,
Working it in.
That's why I usually do partial outlines and come back to that later. I've actually had an experience this morning where I have done more of an outline than normal on my passion side project, but there's like a third of the book that's not outlined, but things that have happened, I've gone in and filling in those, this is where it needs to go in these open spaces, and it's very exciting. I've actually been pretty pumped about it.
That's awesome.
But everybody's got a process. Mine is different every time, unfortunately.
Well, now see, that's crazy because some of the things that I worked out in book 1 we didn't use, and then some of the stuff that I didn't work out when I wrote the original outline, we came up with on the fly. Like there was a scene where Devin and I actually wrote the same scene at this, like we wrote it the same time.
Not talking about it in advance.
Well, it was in the outline.
Oh, okay. But
I thought I was writing it, and he thought he was writing it, so we both wrote it, and there was a conflict because it couldn't happen the way. And anyway, we broke it down, it combined it a little bit, and it worked. And then there was a part where he was like, "Hey, I want this character to be here," and the character was not there, and I was like, "Okay, we can make that happen by this." And so we worked it out, and it's been a great project so far. And then I came up with a good idea for another Valor novel, which everybody's already memeing, so that's great.
The comeback of Valor.
That's right, the comeback of Valor. And yes, Jeff Haskell, if you receive a courtesy copy, hardback and signed, I would expect a vote in my favor. Yes. I do have those, by the way, signed hard copies.
You have hard copies?
I have hardbacks and paperbacks.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I think that's all I had. Oh, we are super close to having Keystroke coffee. We're super close.
Yes, I'm excited about that because I'll fill right here. I'll drink it on the show. It'll be awesome.
Yep.
I have enlisted the help of Walt Robillard because he's our resident coffee expert, and we've been talking with another guy that's here in town that does this basically the same thing on his end, and so we're super close to that, and we're gonna be launching a new version of our website on top of all of that.
Yes.
And getting coffee sales, and it's gonna be relatively cheap coffee. It's not going to be super expensive. We're working out some.
If I drink enough of it, will it make my brainstem vibrate?
Yes.
That's always the goal.
That's all that matters.
Matter of fact, when I emailed them, I said, I don't want any coffee unless it makes my brainstem vibrate.
See, you have good standards, sir.
Yeah.
John Evans, he says he likes it if it's KSM Coke Zero. I'm also a large fan of Coke Zero.
Yeah.
Measure my Diet Coke consumption in gallons sometimes. I'm trying to skip back, of course, because it's the right thing to do.
It's 0 calories.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
I think that's all. I think that's all for me in my update. Who wants to go next?
I think Chuck wants to go next.
I'll go next. Bestello of Valor. I like that.
Bestello of Valor.
Let's see. Oh, clicking away on Dark Disciples, Jack Dark Book 2. As usual, had my final softball tournament of the season this past Saturday. Thank God.
Like 900 of 900, because like you're having like 8 a day there for a while.
Yeah, those things are brutal. But got that done. First day of school, so I've got the kids holed up in the dining room in there with their computers doing daddy school, which they just love.
Yeah.
Because I am so patient.
How old are they?
15 and 12.
Oh yeah, they're totally
so they're at that non-volatile, non-hormonal, don't want to argue with you stage.
Oh, but
so everything's just going smooth as silk. It's just it's awesome.
I'm detecting some small level of sarcasm in your statement.
Actually, that was sarcastic. In all honesty, I mean, it's been minimally difficult. I mean, it is what it is.
Are they going back to regular school in state?
It's depending. They're doing the first. They announced they're doing the first 9 weeks distance learning, and they're going to reevaluate when that's over and see where we're at and kind of go from there. So, but we're getting it done. They're probably about halfway through their school day at this point because it goes a lot faster when they're online. And,
the work goes a lot faster.
Yeah, just because there's not none of that time between changing classes, and so it's like my son, if he sticks to the schedule there, he should be done by like 2:30. So that's
the thing. I think a lot of online, distance work and distance learning. I think a lot of them are learning how inefficient the normal office setup is.
Yeah. So, it's very, and from what I can tell, they've done a pretty good job of considering the scope of the task. I mean, I think they've done a pretty good job of getting it organized for the kids. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think that's great, but I think that there is something for leaving the house that we don't want to lose.
Oh no, we all want them to leave the house,
dude. My daughter found out she was going. She found out she was going to kindergarten. I can't remember. It's a week from today. Actually, she starts. And she was jumping up and down. I get to go to kindergarten. She was so excited. And then I started jumping out and clapping and dancing. But we weren't clapping and dancing for the same reasons. I mean, we were. It was because she was going to kindergarten.
Right. Same reasons, different perspectives.
Yeah, exactly. My wife gave me this sideways, like, how dare you? And I'm like, no,
you don't get it. You don't get it. They do. Unless you're somebody that tries to work at home every day on something that requires focus, they don't understand.
Now, that being said, I was homeschooled from the time I was in 4th grade until I graduated high school. And it was good. There was good and bad in it.
Right.
Everything.
We had some cool sport stuff that we were able to, like, we had where I lived in Manhattan and Junction City, they had a homeschool basketball league for high school. And so we got to play private schools and got socialization that way.
Right.
Because I agree. I think getting out of the house and meeting with other people and doing different things is important.
I think homeschool is a brilliant thing to do if the parents are good homeschoolers.
100%.
Because not everybody has the teaching talent or the patience or the technology. That's the big problem. Is there's a lot of people we have. I've lost track of all the freaking laptops and tablets we've acquired over the last couple of years. But like a lot of homes, they don't have any computers.
Right.
How are they going to homeschool exactly?
They actually keep sending out emails for folks in that situation around here. And what they've done is they've gone to like parking lots and just places around the schools, and they've set up hotspots where, you can bring your kids up there in the van or whatever. And
a lot like going to school.
Like going to school, you just got to stay in your car or around your car. I think they let you get out and sort of put the laptop on the hood or whatever, but it just,
interesting.
Tough time. But anyway, doing all that and been having writing some epic fantasy itch lately for some reason.
Nice.
So I got a little side project going where I'm starting to outline something, but I'm staying focused on my plan to finish this Jack Dark trilogy for Aethon, and then I'm gonna finish the third book of Brace Cordova and try and get that. What do you call 5 books? A pentology? I don't know. Get that 5-book series done.
Single books.
Yeah, and then I don't know. Might. Oh, and then I got people asking about the Pikmin files too. So I might be tossing up between the Pikmin files and some epic fantasy after that.
I'm starting to think that having a nice little side passion project is the key to happiness and stuff.
I think it's important to have a secondary project, because I have found that if if I get stuck on something on my main project and I've got something I can step over to for a day or whatever to work on, my subconscious sort of works out the other thing. And when I go back to it, I'm like, oh yeah, obviously I need to do this to fix it.
I think a passion project also, it allows you to go, oh, this is why I like to do this. This is so much fun.
This is fun.
But if you're just grinding deadlines on stuff that, that's all this pressure on it, and sometimes that can wear you down. So I think remembering why, because I have my little passion project has been on the sideline for a long time. I have several, obviously, but the one I'm working on now, and the thing is when I start working on it, I lose track of time. It's like playing video games or watching a great movie. And that's that's why I started writing, is because I want to do a job where I literally, the only thing is
where it doesn't feel like a job.
Yeah. And I enjoy writing all the time, but there is that deeper level of satisfaction, enjoyment, and just amazement at what you're doing.
Sure. Absolutely.
And that's that inspiration.
That's the magic.
That's the well of inspiration. So I think being able to go, I'm stuck here, I'm going to pop over here, but you have to have discipline too. So you get things done. Otherwise you have 400 half-finished projects, which I do, by the way.
Well, I think anybody that writes seriously has got a bunch of stuff they started and just got kind of, I got a whole box of them on my shelves over here.
Yeah. So what else you got, Chuck?
John says, if one passion project is good, six must be better. That's
John.
true. It's very true. I have 18 passion projects.
Yeah, that's about it. I've just been, family and books, man. That's my existence.
That sounds like a perfect life to me. I'll go through mine real quick because I want to get to our topic today. I think that we're going to have some good content going forward with really delivering some things people can use for the show. But so what I've been doing, I've been working adjusting the night schedule. I'm working on Victor Day 3. I pushed back the pre-order, which I've never done. It was a huge emotional crisis. Everybody that's close to me knows that I freak out when I do that, because I'm really hard on myself. And ask my wife, she'll tell you. And so when I don't meet a deadline, it's like the world is ending. Lately, I've been reading a lot on Stoicism, and Stoicism isn't really about being grim and dark and tough. It's more about do your best with what you can do, and then what you can't.
Worry about what you can control.
And what I've learned is that makes me a lot happier. So Stoicism, you think of being a dark, grim character from history, but for me, I'm actually much happier, much lighter. I think I'm a better person to be around. So
no, absolutely, man. I've read the Stoics since I was in high school, and that's why I always come at you with this. Hey, dude, just think about what you can control, and the rest of it, just forget about it. Because
that's the great thing about it is I've heard all these things, and it's whether you're religious or not religious, it's in scientific and it's in psychoanalytic circles. It's in a lot of religious circles. All these principles are fairly similar across all these different things, and I know them, but I've just been able to kind of get in touch with them. So I'm very excited about that. I'm working on my passion project, obviously, and a couple of things I'm finishing up for Aethon and stuff. So that's it. And then using the crap out of Scrivener, which I think we're going to talk about.
Segue.
Unity 151 says, no, I'm happy you pushed the book back. I need to read book 2. Need more hours in the day. Too many books to read and keep up. That is true. See, you helped out your fans there by pushing the book back.
There you go. I'm very happy with book 2 has, last time, I think it might have finally got a 4-star, but it had a perfect 5-star rating. Only had 17 reviews, but it's the longest I've ever held on to the perfect 5-star. So I'm very happy because I was self-conscious about that book. And so to get some validation back, it's always good for a writer to have a little bit of validation so you don't beat yourself up too much.
I agree.
Let's do Scrivener. Let's talk about it.
Talk about
What
Scrivener.
is Scrivener? What is the Scrivener you speak of?
Hold
Can
on.
you hear
I'm
me
trying
tapping my foot?
Okay, so before we get into this, if you have any tips or tricks that you know of, leave them in the chat or leave them in the comments below. This is a very watered down version of what the program can be. I've used it for probably going on 6 years now. I started in the first version, and I'm using predominantly Scrivener 3 on Mac. Today we're going to be talking about the Windows version, but I think most of the features that we're going to be talking about, that I'm going to be talking about, you can use in both the Windows and the Mac version. I was talking a little bit to Matt Herron this morning. He's going to come on next week and talk about the Mac version, and specifically the differences and features between, or that are on the Mac version that aren't on the Windows version. He wrote a book on Scrivener. And so he's going to come in and talk about it next week. And he's got a couple other things he might want to talk about too. So that is going to come up next week. Sorry about my phone dinging.
Damn it, Josh.
So anyway, if you have any questions also on anything that you want us to talk about, leave them in the live chat and we'll get to them. Let's see. So Scrivener, for those of you that don't know what Scrivener is, Scrivener is an amazing program for people to use and write books in. Well, you can write anything in Scrivener, really.
Yeah.
But more than a book writing piece of software, it's like an all-encompassing thing. It's not just a word processor. It can help you build your book from scratch and really help you keep track of everything that you want to keep track of without having to have like Windows Explorer folders open all over your desktop and going, have Word document 1 and Word document 2 and all this other stuff.
I like to describe it as a management tool for writers.
That's good. That's a
because I
Great.
started using it when I discovered the whole KDP thing back in 2014.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a piece of software where I could have every book be its own little file, but within that file have the outline, the character profile, just everything for that book in one spot.
Yeah.
And Scrivener provides that. I can do the manuscript, I can have my research, I can have, pictures, whatever I need. It's all right there in that book file.
And you can search
pulled me to it.
You can search an entire series. And that's what I like. Sometimes I'll like, if I'm looking for details, hey, 3 books ago, what was this character's name? And I can just search it right there. I don't have to go open a bunch of other projects.
Sure.
I can keep my glossaries all the same. Like you said, it's a management tool is the big thing. You need to move a chapter that's in the wrong place. You just slide it over and you're good to go. So it's very handy.
So one of the things that the most talked about thing that I hear of writers not wanting to use Scrivener, that is super complicated. There's a lot of things that you have to learn. There's a big learning curve, and people want to just jump in and start writing. And the argument that I hear between Word and Scrivener is Word is very straightforward.
Word is familiar
and
it's been around forever.
Right. We do have some questions already in the chat, so we need to keep track of those. I don't know who wants to be the.
Okay. We'll get to those.
Here's the thing, the learning curve thing. I can see where people see that because Scrivener got
it's intimidating.
1,000 features. Okay. But I think I'm coming up on my 9th book on it. And I probably use maybe a 10th, maybe, something. I figured out what I needed to satisfy my work ethic. And that's what I use. And all that other shit just sits there. You don't have to get the software and learn every single damn thing. I mean, you can explore and see what works for you. But once you figure out the parts you absolutely need, it's not that. I mean, I have a very bare bones use, but it's the use that suits me better than Word does.
Absolutely.
So.
Specifically to Nagling's question about exporting, we'll touch on it a little bit, but I think that's going to be something that we're going to let Matt cover in depth because compiling and exporting is super complicated. And that is, I think, by far the most complicated feature of Scrivener. And I'll cover a little bit just in a basic version.
But I
to
also
make
think it's
everything-
different between Mac and Windows.
It is
too.
different between Mac and
Yeah.
Windows, and it's different between Scrivener 2 and Scrivener 3. So we will cover that probably more in depth next week, but we will touch on it just a little bit.
The good news about that nagging, and I'm not going to interrupt, is that once you figure that out and you stick with it, it's easy. That's the thing.
And the thing is, you set it and then you just leave it alone.
Yep.
And then you compile when you need to compile. You don't have to dutz around with it too much.
So right now I'm going to show just basically the easiest way to get in and use Scrivener. This is it right here. So I'm starting. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Stop.
And for those of you on the audio feed, sorry.
Yes, if you're listening on the audio feed, probably this isn't the best episode to listen to on the audio feed because we're doing a lot of screen sharing and visuals here. So this is my desktop, and this is the Scrivener project window. This opens as soon as you open Scrivener on Windows, and there's a lot of settings that you can use: fiction, nonfiction, script writing, miscellaneous. The easiest way is to just go blank. Just click blank. We'll do a stream test.
Scrivener screen test of Valor, I think, should be definitely
of Valor.
The title.
We definitely need that. Okay, and then you hit create, and then the window opens, and you start writing. I mean, that's literally the easiest part of Scrivener. If all you wanted to do is write, all you have to do is that you make it as basic as possible, and you start writing. I don't even know, so I have started another test project to show you how I use it, but the simplest way is this is the text. This is like the Word document. It's just like a Word page. I don't know how well you guys can see the text. It's kind of small on my screen, but it's you just start writing, and then every one of these you can add a different text file and write chapter 2 or 3 or whatever, and then you keep going. Like it's simple. The cool thing about Scrivener is everything is here, like we said. So if you want research from the internet, you can literally put a internet page in here, and it will be there every time you open Scrivener. You don't have to research it or anything. You don't have to go back on the internet. But anyway, we're staying. So we'll get ahead of ourselves. So the way I like to do it is I have. You can use folders. You can use subfolders. All that stuff is super complicated. You could just have these scene documents here and just write your story. So I'll open up this is the one that I set up just before the show, and you can see I have chapter 1. I have notes. We can do notes down here to research if we want. But these are some of the cool features that are really simple to use when you're just learning how to do it and how it looks when you write. So you can have this binder here, which keeps track of everything on the left-hand side. It shows your chapter names. You can color code scenes or chapters. In my case, I like to do every chapter from a specific point of view, and you can label those in here. You can create your own colors or labels, and when you look at your draft overall, you'll see what you have going there. The cool thing about Scrivener is instead of like Word where you have one big document, where this is one big document, if you write a chapter and you need to move it around somewhere, you don't have to copy and paste. You don't have to do anything. You just drag it and move it around just like that. It moves around anywhere.
The color coding is not necessary, although because I've gone both ways. I've been really complicated with it, really simple with it. In my manuscript I was working on this morning, I decided to color code my POVs, just like you're saying, and I realized very quickly that almost the entire book so far is written in one POV, even though I intended there to be several. So that color representation can kind of show you your pacing and your changes and stuff.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
Dan Bridgewater asks, I tried to make a template using New Times Roman fonts, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it wants.
But every time I start a new chapter of Doc or Sketch, it comes back to Courier. It's a little thing, but it's frustrating. No, I completely agree. That's frustrating. In Mac, it's different. So let's see if we can find it in the Windows version, because there is. So if we go here and we go New Times Roman,
you can type it. You can make it in New Times and then right click it and select it as a format, just like you can in Word. Make it your default format.
Yeah. So we want to go. There is a options.
Yeah, it's under tools.
Tools. Yeah.
So you're in Windows. I haven't used Windows for a while.
Options. There we go. So when you go to Appearance, Editor, Text, Fonts, General, Document, Project Note. Where is it?
I'm trying to remember. I haven't had to adjust that in so long.
Wait, here it is. Here it is. Got it. Okay. So this.
What's it under? Tell us the path.
Okay, so it's under Options. Then you go to Editor, and then you can see right here the text, and then you click here on the A. Scroll down to New Times New Roman, hit OK, and then it'll change that, and then
is there like apply all or something?
You can say save preferences, but then there was a only applies to new document. Okay, so apply, and okay, let's see if it worked.
Looks like it did.
Yes, it worked. We're still in New Times Roman.
So review that, since we just had kind of a breakthrough. Just review it one time, please.
Oh, look, Jeff Haskell's telling us. Look, editor. Look at it. See, look, the live chat is helping. Okay, so to make the default, you go to Tools or Tools, Options, and then Editor. I knew it was there somewhere. And Mac
Option Editor.
And then
you
just click in that box on the text. Click that A button, and then you can set it to whatever you want, and bam, you're good. And then
if you start a new project, you'll probably
have to do that again. Yeah. Now, what I do though is I set up the structure of a template that doesn't have any words in it. Nothing written in the. But I put folders and documents where I want folders and documents, but they're all blank.
Yeah.
Then I've got it set for all the stuff I like. And then I just saved that, I think is a CSM novel template. And then every new project, I just open that template and off to the races.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to do this over and over and over again.
So basically this is how I use Scrivener. I just use super simple stuff. I don't, I have scenes that I write out, and I could show you my, my Mac version on my Mac computer that shows you the whole. Let's see if I can bring up Edge of Valor. Let's see. Where's the books? Books. There we go. So the cool thing I also like about Valor is that I can write all of my books in one series in the same Scrivener project. I don't have to create different Word documents for it.
Really?
Yeah. I've got all 3 of my Edge of Valor books in this Scrivener file.
Well, then
one file.
Mm-hmm.
And all you do is you just take what I do is I do the same thing, and then anything that's in research below doesn't get compiled. So I just when I work on all 3 of them, I'll have them above. I'll have them in the draft, and when I want to compile, I just drag those folders for those other books, but down to the research.
Tried that
and just compile the one that I want for the send to the editor. And it's pretty easy, and then I can be consistent through all the different books.
Okay, so I just brought this up, so I'm going to show you here. This is on my Mac. This is what my Scrivener looks like. So up here we have the latest version of book 3, and you can see that this is part 1, and it's color coded for POV. And then down here is book 1. All of book 1.
I mean, I totally see how you could do that. I don't know. I guess in my head, it seemed like it would get confusing, but I guess not.
And then of course all my research material. So basically the same thing that I'm just showing you there. Like these are all my scenes, and how I keep track of them, color coded and in the name of the scenes and all that. That's how I do for my Mac stuff.
I might have to try that.
So anyway, the some of the other features you can do that you can do in Word too, but it's a little easier in Scrivener, is basic stuff like word counts. So I'm a big believer in having your chapters be similar in length, and it is easy for me to calculate how long a book is going to be based on how many chapters I have. I base my chapters on an average of 2,000 words a chapter. Sometimes it's not 2,000, but most of the time it's 2,000.
Well, and you can know that, like, if you get there and you're like, holy shit, this chapter is 6,000 words long.
Right.
And all my other ones are 2,000 to 3,000. Then you know that chapter, it needs to be broken.
You need to bust that up.
Or something.
Right.
And it's easy to break up because you can just go hit split here and boom, you got two, and then you just kind of adjust the
So that was the next hint.
Oh, let me start the softball pitch to you.
Yes. So
Hey,
what
Charles,
I like,
I had a really long chapter that was like 2,000. There's a natural. I had a page break, and instead of making that like a section break, I wanted to make it 2 chapters. How would I do that?
I think you would cut and paste that, and then
no,
was that for Josh?
Cutting pasting. No cutting pasting. No cutting pasting. So here you go. Like you can click on the top binder thing, which is usually called draft. You can name it whatever you want, but typically it's called draft at the top, and that will show you in this view. So there's several views you can look. You can look at the scroll view, the corkboard view, or just the outliner view. I like the outliner view the most because I don't really mess with the this doesn't really do anything for me. The only thing this does is like it has this cool first draft thing that you can do when you're changing what status it is. Like you can do a revised draft, and then while you're editing your manuscript, you can change that stuff.
You can change the size of those cards too if you really want.
I like to put it here because you can see more information. So here you have the chapter 1. You can have your current word count and your target. You can include it in the compile or not, and then you can have your status first draft here. The thing I like about Scrivener is here's the document. You go down here on the right corner and you click what your target is going to be. And then as you write, this little box here is a color-coded box that will show you how close you are to that goal. But you can also look at your whole, once this is done, you can show your whole target. So like, if you have a folder here that has all your scenes in it and you have an idea where you want to be totally, you could put that in the folder and it will add up all of these things to give you a total number. But like Scott said, if you come up to a chapter, then like say we have a target of 2,000 here in chapter 1, but we're at 4,000 and we want to break that chapter in half. Instead of cutting and pasting and doing a whole bunch of stuff, you can basically do this. I can type correctly. I like that. And you're going to go split selection as title, and then it creates a brand new section for you right there. It's already labeled chapter 2, and then you don't have to do any formatting. You don't have to do anything else. You can just bam, it's there and you're good to go and you're moving on. You can do that with anything. You can do that without saving as a title or moving as a title. But that's a very simple way of splitting those chapters up and seeing where your count is at and where you need to be. It also transfers your word count targets. So chapter 1, it used to be 19 words in 2000, and now it's split up a little bit, and you can see that it's automatically changing that number around.
So on that point, Rick and Jeff are both talking about chapter length strategies, and it looks like they have slightly different opinions on that. But if you have like a technique where you want to make some chapters longer and then make them gradually get shorter, like a lot of times Jeff says that he makes them longer in the beginning and shorter towards the end to build speed. A lot of times I make my chapters in the middle of the book a little bit shorter because that's the murky middle. And I want to get things moving. That's one simple hack to kind of sometimes get the reader cruising through all that middle stuff if you're having an issue with that. But so in this, you could manage that very easily. Yeah.
And you can see, you can look at your target chapters and know, okay, I'm getting here, so I want that target to be 1,000, and you can look at that in your this view here. But just like if as for simple and like Scott, I know you use the four part structure.
I use a 4-part structure for novels, but then like each chapter, I usually will do a minimum of 3. I'll do 3 to 5 parts.
Yeah.
In a chapter, or 3 to 5 parts in a scene. You can always break things down to a micro to macro level in parts.
Right. So you can do that as you could basically go here and make a new folder, and this could be part 1.
Mm-hmm.
No, part exclamation mark, part 1, and then drop your chapters into that part folder, and then you can see it's in part 1, and you can also do totals with that too.
Yep.
It says go to project and set project totals. Yes, you can do that.
Yeah.
So this is one of the easy cool things that I like about Scrivener is you can put in a daily target or a total target. So if you, let's say we have 100,000 word. 100,000? There we go. That's 100,000. You click that to include the documents that are included in the compile, and so this will give you a total. Then you can also do, like, if your session is 1,500 words, it'll show you what that is. And it's very easy to look at. When I open it up, I keep that open, and you can track your target words.
Right.
You can track your overall, and that is something cool that you can have that Word doesn't do, like Scott and I and a whole bunch of people do.
I like to see the little bar turn green.
Yes.
Very reaffirming. A little
It is
a little behavior modification reward there.
Right. We'll do like 20-minute sprints, and you can set your target for whatever you want during that sprint and go, and you can see it climb, and then you know where you get to. And then you get, you tell your buddies, hey, this is what I had. You don't have to get out the calculator and do math and calculate how many words you had in the Word document before and then how many you have it after.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's a fun and useful tool. There is a I wonder where it is in Windows.
What you looking for?
Well, it's the where you could do the how many words you need to finish. Like you've got the calculator that'll tell you.
Just show us in Mac if that's easier.
Yeah, I just use project targets for that. Like I usually aim for about 90,000 words, and I just follow it that way.
You set the date, and
yeah. Well, where do you set the date at though? That's
I use project targets. you click on. Well, like I said, I quit using. I still have the Windows, which I like for lots of things, but the reason I don't use Windows Scrivener is because on my computer the resolution of the font looks shitty.
Mm-hmm.
But in Mac, it's crystal clear and it's easier on my eyes.
I'm not sure where to do it on Windows now.
I think Jeff says sadly it doesn't let you do it in WPH.
Well, words per hour, but I'm talking about like if you set
numbers.
in Mac, you can set, and I thought you could do it in Windows too. That's strange. Yeah, project.
Just,
well, I don't see the option. Anyway, in Mac there is a way to set a completion date, and then it will calculate how many words you need
per day. You need
per day to get to the target, and I thought you could do that in the Windows. He says next to the O.
Next to the O. Oh hell no! I got to look on mine.
I don't have my screen up big enough to see that. I can put on my readers. Let me take a peek.
I'll see it. But anyway, it's a neat little thing that I like to use all the time. That'll tell me, like, if I've got 3 months to do a project, it'll tell me, hey, you got like 700 words you need to write today, and you can write those words, and it updates as you go, and you can set a target.
So there's one other quick thing, and then maybe we want to get on our outline and show kind of like what you wanted to do. If you were using it for the first time, these are the steps you need to do, and this will get you working.
Right.
But so one other thing, I just lost my train of thought on this. They're just talking about it in the chat. So the other reasons I use Mac instead of, because I really like the Scrivener for Windows. I used it for many years before I went to the Mac.
Yeah.
But on the Mac Scrivener, it synchronizes with all my devices much easier.
Yes.
So I can type on my iMac on my desktop. I can synchronize it very easily on my little laptop, or I can use it on my phone through the Scrivener's iOS app, which for a while, for some reason, was not working for me, but I got working again. And for me, since I have to write on the go a lot, if I'm going to get my words in, it's really one of the most powerful tools I have is the ability to write on any of these devices at any time.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
the one reason I've strongly considered going to Mac, that and Vellum.
Yeah, and
because I can't do Vellum on Windows.
Yeah. Now, having said that, everybody knows that I love Windows. I love Mac, and my problems with Macs are legendary. But
which is why I haven't gone to Mac.
But those features is why I stay with them, because that's extremely powerful for me, is being able to move it around, go mobile.
Yeah. Okay, so do you guys want to show off how you use your Scrivener?
Hey, Scott, go ahead. I got to step away real quick. Okay.
Okay.
Let me, I'll show. Let's see. I'll pop up here. I'll show you two things. Let's see. Is that me? Okay.
Yep.
So tell me if that's.
And this is the Mac version, if you were wondering.
Can you see my cursor?
It looks different.
Can you see my cursor?
Yep.
So I'll start out the very simple outline like this. And like I want to have part one. So I'll select part one and I'll right click it. And I'll click, where's it? Split. I won't do it because it's the first one. But like I would go down, there's a way around that. I'm skipping these parts. I'll go to this and I'll make this part two. Split the selection as title. I'll go to part three. So a lot of times I'll make my outline in one document, but then I'll break it up in Scrivener very easily. And you see on the left-hand column where I'm making sections.
Oh, that's crazy. It doesn't show the text box for your mouse. I was like, where's the text box?
Yeah.
So he's doing the same thing that I did on my screen, where you right click and then you scroll to split selection as title.
And so what I'll do, and I won't go into it all, but like then I'll usually make my parts a folder. Well, first I would split, like in part two, I would split the chapters into its own section. And then I would make the part a folder. I go to convert to folder. And then I would drag these chapters into that folder, and then I would break them up. And then I can close. So when you get done, let me open a different project. I'll show you something crazy. So I'm going to go to a recent project. I will go to They Came for Blood. And this is going to, if this opens up, it's going to look kind of chaotic. So brace yourself. But it makes sense to me. But I'll just show you the easy part. So open it up, and I come down in here, but you can see where, actually I should go different, but I can close. So see how
you'll have to share your screen again because you unshared it.
No, I'm sorry.
Fail.
Application, share. Okay, so I'm in here, and okay. I'm going back to this. So what I'll do is, like, you can also, this is my other favorite, you can make things side by side. So I'll put on the right-hand column here, I'll put like my glossary.
How do you do that?
Okay, up in the top right here, you'll see, I don't know if you can see my cursor at all?
Yep. Okay,
so you'll see these, I'm pointing at this little box. So if I click that, it's just one screen, right?
Right.
And so if I click this again, it splits it into two screens.
Yep.
And you can do it horizontally or vertically, but a lot of times I'll say I'm going to work on chapter 27. I'll also open chapter 27 over here, because a lot of times I'll have notes at the top, and then like I can be working towards the end, but I can remember where I started, which is very useful. Or like I'll be like, oh, chapter 27 is also the same point of view as chapter 29, so I can write chapter 27 on the left while I have easy access to 29. Or I go down into my let's see where my glossary is.
And Sean Call says you can use Vellum on PC through service called Mac Cloud.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
So real quick, and then I don't want to hog the time here. So this is the entire draft. I can go to all the sections. I can click on whichever section I want to go to. On the right here under glossary, I have all my notes. Over here, I can keep my note cards or another note thing over here. If I want to go look at like any type, I've made like a comment, you can look at comments. I don't have any in this one. But if you go down here, you'll see where I started to outline the next book, right? And I broke all up, like I said before, but if you look on the left, you see where I broke up each section. So like if I'm working on section 1, but it's like I've opened all these up and it's getting really chaotic and whatnot, then I can close the other ones to make it cleaner.
Nathan Peddle asks, why are words different colors in your draft?
Those are just, I set the headings, like this one right here is heading 1, and I just changed the color. And it's just for I like colors. So heading 2 are blue, and my beats you'll see are closed in brackets. That's something Richard Fox told me. And so since I have headings, and when I click down and start typing, it'll be in the default format. The day was whatever.
Right.
And then what I'll do is so I click over here. I will take this, I'll select it, copy it, and I'll put it in this title bar, or even in here, or both. But then what that does is, if you look over here on the left, you'll see that this right here is also in my title thing.
Right.
So like I will drag this over sometimes, and I'll have all of my notes. Like I'll be reading my notes here and working on the scene right here, and I can read the whole book in beats while I work on my manuscript over here. And you can close this out if you need more room. Right.
I just think that there's so much
that's
in Scrivener that you can use to your advantage, like this, where you don't get lost in a big wall of text on Word. You can put in so many different things that will help you as you're drafting, like remember things, what you're doing. Yeah.
So that really helps me. And I tend to I'm one of those people that I start writing, and these are ones these have already, like in this book, the entire first part has already been to the editor already once. Right. And so, and I left these in the default window, or this default Mac font. And when I export it, I change it to Times New Roman, just because it's easier rather than messing. You can manhandle these fonts like we did in the other one, but it's easier for me to just let it go to and if you click on it, there'll be an option. Let me make this a little bit bigger, for no style. And I'll just click on no style, and that basically removes any of the excess HTML that's in the background, like on a Word document, other documents.
Yeah.
And exports more cleanly into whatever font you want to make it in the end.
Yeah.
So that's my lightning tour.
All right, Chuck, do you have yours up and running? We can talk about your base.
Yeah, pop it up there.
All I have is a black box.
Why do you only have a black box?
I don't know. And yes, Nathan is right. It does have a built-in name generator, which is a nice feature.
Yep.
Let me stop sharing and reshare it. Maybe that'll.
Okay.
That's weird. Maybe it was up there too long or something.
And what we're trying to do here with this episode is not make people Scrivener experts, really not even to teach people how to use Scrivener. It's just to show the very ease of the program if all you want to do is write. Like the compile is super complicated. You can do a lot of things with HTML links. You can do a lot of things with note generation. If you're really interested in doing while Chuck's doing that.
Sorry,
guys.
guys.
Inspector over here where you can see everything while you're typing. So if you go into this POV, it shows you the card. You can write notes on the card. You can do all of the changes or all the updates, first draft, revised draft. You can do it all here. It's even got this document note panel here that while you're drafting, if you don't want to mess up your draft while you're writing, you can write over in this yellow box here your thoughts on the chapter if you want to add things to it. You
got now, man?
I got it now. Okay. Also, there's different options up here that you can click on to search in this thing. One of the cool features is I don't use a whole lot, but it's very interesting, is snapshot. This is it's not an advanced thing, but for me, like if I write a draft and then that chapter just doesn't work and I've got to do huge rewrites on it, you can do basically what's called a snapshot and say if we took this chapter and we wanted to change that, but we wanted to remember what we wrote, you add a snapshot here of that chapter. And so then when we go and change it,
I never really mastered the snapshot, but it seems like it would be extremely useful when you're doing big
change
changes.
it there, and then it's changed in the document. But then if you go back and look at the snapshot, you can see what the original draft was. And so if you change it completely, but then you're like, what did I write in that chapter? I wish I hadn't deleted it. You can go over here and look at the snapshot. And yeah, John says there's a link to the video that I did a long time ago about compiling in Scrivener. But that is for Scrivener 1 or 2. And I'd have to double check because it was a while ago. So it might not be accurate. I might have to do a different one for the updated Scrivener.
What I would recommend,
Matt Herron will be here next week, and that'll be a good.
And hopefully, if people have lots of questions, you can let us know, and then we can cover those in another episode and get to. Because what I really wanted with this is for us to actually help people. Because like when I go look on all the forums on my problem, it's really frustrating. I'd rather just ask Josh, and then he can tell me how to do it. That's what I normally do. But not everybody has access to Josh. But what I would do as far as the compile, what I'm doing now is I use one of the default compiles, and then I change whatever I need to in Word very easily.
Yeah.
And then, and plus, if you have a good, basic, simple Word document and you import it into Vellum, it's really easy to break it up into your final formatting there. And all of this fancy compile stuff is really not necessary if you have Vellum or somebody who has Vellum. And you can, like, I'm not good with the technical stuff, but I can format a book in 30 minutes or less on Vellum.
Right. Okay, Chuck, we'll add you up, and then you can go.
Yeah, this is super simple, super basic, my version of it. So basically, this is my cork board. A lot of my work is done between notebooks and Scrivener. So a lot of my notes sometimes will end up on a notebook instead of on the screen. But like from this point, if I didn't have it outlined on a piece of paper, I would have little notes on these index cards telling me just the basic point of each chapter and that sort of thing. And then each chapter is its own folder like that. And then you see the words in, every chapter is like, okay, I know in this chapter I need to write this. And then when I'm done with that chapter, I go to the next folder. That's chapter 2. So I keep my notes and things over here on the right in these document windows. Like in this chapter, this is one of the critters that the hero had to square off against. So I've got that picture there to sort of reference, how it looks, how it feels, that kind of thing. And that's basically the drafting part of it. I just go chapter to chapter, and every chapter is 1,200 to 2,000 words long. And I just write. Now, as far as my outline and stuff goes, you go down here to where it says pre-draft work.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my outline. My outlines are super simple. There's a few plot points, a wrap up. You start out with the normal world, and then you go through all this stuff. And then I do my free writing between these points. That way I always know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have room to play with how I get there. So this is all very simple and all that. And then if I need some world notes or some plot notes about what the bad guys are really up to and stuff like that, I put those underneath this. So I can always just drop down to this outline, and I've got all that in front of me if I need to refresh my memory. People, these are how I cast the characters. I use pictures. This is my boy Jack Dark. This is his buddy Elijah Bowman. This is their friend Nandi, Oliver, Maya, yada yada yada. All the different characters.
That's all.
And then if I want to expand on their character profiles, I can do that. Again, a lot of this is actually in notebooks, so it just kind of depends on the project as far as that. Places, same thing. This is Jack's house in the Inman Park neighborhood of Atlanta. That's where he lives. So I write a lot about the neighborhood he's in, what his house looks like, et cetera, and so forth. This is an amulet that is key to the story because of the situation that he's in. So I've got notes about that, what it looks like. That helps me with descriptions of that to try and kind of make it feel real and so on and so forth. once I have all of that, it's just a matter of sitting down and going to work. And
Yeah.
I just and I write very linearly. So
Say it again, Chuck.
So I don't jump around as much as you guys do with because I know, Josh, you like to write one point of view and then another point of view and then blend them together later on.
Right.
So this is the method that works for me. I don't know crap about these snapshots you're talking about. I don't even know what that is. There are probably 100 things that this program can do that I do not know anything about, but this is the method that works for me and has gotten me through it since I've been using it. I don't care about all the numbers as far as words per hour and shit like that. I just want to get the book done. So I don't worry about tracking all that. This is it. I like things simple. I'm not that smart a guy, so I gotta keep it easy.
And the theme here is that we all use Scrivener differently, and it accommodates all of us. And so the big thing is you figure out what you need, and then maybe you get a mentor or somebody who can help you through the rough spots. But like when I first got Scrivener, I tried to do all the things. There's a tutorial that walks you through all the stuff. I just find it very boring. I have a hard time getting through the tutorial. But if you go through the Scrivener tutorial, it will tell you literally everything that you can do.
Yeah.
And
can I show you one more thing real quick? That's actually one of my favorite aspects of it. Once I've got all this set up, I don't like the way this screen looks. I don't like writing on this screen, and I hope this shows up when I do it. So when I'm actually doing the writing, I hit F11 and I've got this.
Yeah, that's a neat feature.
Is that showing up for you guys?
Yeah. It's what's
and
that
it's sort
called?
of
It's just
there's a setting in there where you can pick full screen backgrounds.
Yep.
And then when you go to a full screen setting to write, it gives you a different background. So that kind of, because all these other things on the screen tend to distract me. So I like being able to like put a cool, inspiring picture up there that gets me in the mood for whatever I'm writing. So
to answer Nathan Peddle's question, let me find it here in the chat. Is it possible to use Windows Scrivener on the cloud to use multiple PCs? I don't have a Mac. Yes, you can. I can show you here on my screen real quick how you do that. So to set that up, you have your base Scrivener folder, but to sync it, you go to File, Sync, External Folder, and then you click your whatever folder you use. And in my case, this links to a Dropbox folder, but you can link it to whatever folder you want, and then you just say sync, and it'll save to that folder. And then if you're on another PC, you just have to have access to your Dropbox and get into it through that.
Right. That's what
you have to have Scrivener on that device.
And you have to have Scrivener on that device. Yes. Now you cannot, as of right now, you cannot go between Windows and Mac, because if you're running Scrivener 3 on Mac, if you're just running Scrivener 2 on Mac, then yes, you can go between the two devices, Mac or Windows. But as of if you're using Scrivener 3, you cannot switch between the two because the versions are different. Okay, Chuck, did you have any more on your?
No, but I mean, really, that's it. I mean, like I said, for me, it's mostly just a management tool, and I just keep everything in one spot.
It'd be neat to have Matt on next week, since he's wrote the book and all that. And then if people can give us questions or tech issues, maybe we can do like a session where or it could be part of just like 15 minutes from the show, we go and answer like the Scrivener question of the week or something, and fix somebody's problem in whatever thing.
So really quickly, I'm going to bring up my Mac version again, because I really want to show this thing, and I found it again. So let me show what I've. I just want to share the screen, share, and then get rid of view. Okay, so that's my Scrivener. Here is the word counter, like we were showing in the PC version. You can see that you can set the total. You can set your session target, or in this case, you can set it as a date to be finished. So if I want to do my draft target, I want to set my target date of, let's say, December 1st of this year. I can hit OK, and it will tell me if I want 100,000 words by that, I need, and I didn't write 10,000 words today. That's 0. I want 0. How do I? Oh, I reset. Okay. So it's going to tell me that I need 883 words today, every day, basically until I get to December 1st, if I want to hit this 100,000 word target. And then it tells me how many days I have left. So, but it changes too. So if I write over, say I write 2,000 words today instead of 800, it will adapt that number tomorrow, and tomorrow that number will likely be less of an average.
I actually see where that would be pretty useful.
And it's extremely useful. But
it depends on your personality.
Yeah, so Jeff says you can't set target dates in Windows. Yeah, I was trying to find it. Apparently, it's not there. This is a Mac only thing. I tell you that when I was doing this second Edge of Valor, or even the third Edge of Valor, this terrified me because there are days I opened it up and it was like, you need 5,000 words today. I was like,
once you get behind, it's like, you're screwed.
Right. But when you start a project and you're thinking, I'm going to start a 100,000 word project today. And then it's like, oh my God, 100,000 words. But then you look and you're like, oh, I only need 800 words today. I can do 800 words. I don't have to do 100,000 words today. And that is extremely helpful.
No, I can see where that would be useful for sure.
So, all right, that's good. Good times. Lots of stuff we did in the episode, lots of stuff to cover, lots of different ways to use Scrivener. And like I said, next week we'll do a more in-depth critical skills, I guess, episode that you want to know how to do specific things. But really, if you're just wanting to test out Scrivener to write, don't worry about any of the features.
Yeah,
just open it up and open a document and write on it and then learn as you go, because that's how I did a lot of my learning over, I don't know, 6 years of using Scrivener, is just playing with it. The compile is kind of the most intimidating feature. But there's a whole bunch of materials out there. Matt's book, there's a whole bunch of YouTube videos that are out there that you can just very easily, even mine still might work, I'm not sure, but I have a compile video there that I use that was a very simple way to set up your documents and then do a compile. It might still work, but I'd have to look to see if it still worked. That was a few years ago when I did that. But just to use just the basic features, just create a document and start writing, and it's super easy to use. And I think a lot more effective than Word. I know there are people that can use headings in Word to great effect when you're trying to pull things around in your document and see the document outline and everything like that. I just think it's a lot more intuitive in Scrivener to use that stuff.
Scrivener is a great tool. I think Nathan's asking if we can put the link to your compile video on Facebook. I'm not sure if I'm reading the question right.
Honestly, I think open it up to any useful links for Scrivener.
I'll find it. Let's see.
The biggest thing. So when you compile something, it's different than saving. When you hit file, you go down to compile to the very bottom, and then you're going to pick, do I want a Word or Docs file, a PDF, a Mobi, a EPUB, and all I ever do now is I either do PDF, because I will download my PDF to my desktop and then listen to it on my phone with using the Speechify thing as I do edits. That's very handy. Or I compile it to a Word doc, and then I'll just do like a select all, change of the fonts, all those things like that. You can get really techie with formatting your Word stuff too.
I will sometimes slap just a working cover on it, and I'll compile it to a Mobi, just so I can kind of read through it on my iPad and just make sure, But do you guys? Here's a quick question. I know we're running a little long, but do your editors that you send stuff to, do they take Scrivener files, or do you have to compile to Word? Because I've had to compile to Word for everybody.
I've always compiled to Word. I don't know that I've had anybody ever.
Word has a much better word tracking system than anything else. And one thing we didn't talk about in Scrivener is like what I use a lot is you can enter a draft mode in the Mac version. So like if I'm making lots of changes in a big section, I'll change it to draft mode, so everything I type new is red, and I can see all my changes really easy without all the weird track changes bubbles on the side. But always compile to Word, and I'll quickly make sure that the format is reasonable for them, a real basic format.
Yeah,
and that's simple. And then I send it to editors in Word. I've never met an editor that works in Scrivener.
That works in Scrivener, me neither.
You can use it when you're collabing. I have not used it to collab. I know that I think Kayleen and Bill Frisbee use it in their collab. I did post the video that I did. When was this? I did this in 2016, man, and you can tell I did it in 2016. Yeah, this was one of the first educational videos we did. So you can check that out. I'm sure the setup is similar. Now, actually doing it is probably a little different, like the mechanics of going through the option menus and doing it differently. But it's probably still relevant, just as a setup wise.
Yeah.
So if you want, you can check that out. And
if you're going to use Scrivener as collaborations, the big thing is you can't be in it at the same time like you came into Google Docs. So you have to basically have a system like, okay, I'm logged out of the Scrivener project. You can get in Dropbox and open the Scrivener project on your computer. You can't use it at the same time. That's the main problem with using it for collaboration, which I don't think it actually would be that big a deal.
Yeah. So if you have any questions that we didn't cover in this video, leave them in the comments, or you can post them in the Facebook group, either on the thread that has this video on it, or you can start a new thread and ask for next week when we have Matt on. We're going to be predominantly talking about the Mac version and the differences between Mac and PC, but I'm sure if we have some PC questions, he'll also be able to answer them as well. And that'll be the more technical conversation about Scrivener. This was just a kind of an overview of how we use it and how we use it simply. So if you got anything of value out of this episode, hit the like button. If you have not subscribed already, please subscribe. And let us know what you thought about this video in the comments, obviously. And then come hang out with us on Facebook, facebook.com/keystroke medium.
You should definitely do that. It's the right thing to do.
And that's where all the mayhem happens. We're going to have our coffee and our new website up here probably in the next couple of weeks, and that'll be fun. We have two, we're going to do 4 blends of coffee, I think, to start out. And we're going to have a keystroke medium roast. And then we're also going to have a roast called Writer's Block. And I'm not sure if that's going to be the decaf one or not, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes along.
Why?
I actually drink a lot of.
Why are you?
Because some people drink decaf.
I drink decaf because, like, if I'm going to write in the evening and I want to go to bed, it's still, the taste of it is still a mental trigger.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. But also,
if you're lying to yourself,
it works. It works out.
So good times. Thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with us on this Monday. We stepped away from the story this season. We stepped away from it just a little bit this episode, but I hope everybody enjoyed it. Next week we'll be back with Matt Herron to talk about Scrivener again. And then he's got a couple other projects we might get him on in the following weeks to talk about. I think Lauren and Kayleen are taking a vacation from Thursday night, the writer's journey. I think they're off for a couple weeks, and then they're going to come back here in like 2 or 3 weeks and start smashing it again. Walt will be on tomorrow at 7:30-ish with coffee and concepts. So definitely don't miss that if you like the coffee, which we all do. So thank you everybody for hanging out with us. We will be back next week talking about some writing, some reading, and everything in between right here on Keystroke Medium. Peace.
Later, guys.